Thank you very much for attending our session today. So this session or webinar is for improving student engagement. So again, I said, for those who were joining late, we are recording this session and it's going to be available for you later. Okay, so this session is to give you some ideas just to get your students looking at your Oliver system and hopefully getting them into the library and using your resources. So it's just a few hints and tips just to get you going on that way. So one of the obvious things that I could state here is you can get your students to use iPads and tablets. So there seems to be a growing trend that schools are using iPads and tablets. They're providing Wi-Fi in the school. So your users, if they have access to the Oliver system via that, they can search the OPAC. So they can search here. And I'm not referring to the web app. This is just the web system here, or the Library Link app. So students would be able to search the catalogue without logging in, or if they can log in, they would be able to see their details, they'd be able to renew loans, they would be able to make reservations, etc. Now, I'm going to be showing you something a little bit later to do with Oliver and using tablets and mobile phones. So you'll see that towards the end of the presentation. Now, when people refer to searching the web, the phrase Google it is used a lot. Now, we use Google too in Oliver, and there are a couple of features that you may not necessarily be aware of. So the first one is actually using Google Books or Preview, and the other one is using Google to add RSS feeds to your home page. Okay. So with the Google Books or Preview, you can use that to add to your search results without the need of purchasing the various add-ons that are available for Oliver. So I'm going to go and do a search here, and I'm going to go away from the usual Harry Potter search, and I'm going to do Jacqueline Wilson. So when you're in the search screen here, now we've got various add-ons here. We've got things like the book covers, so this is with Syndetics or just by itself. You've got Meet the Author, we've got Accelerated Reader, very popular option, and you've got other things like book reviews, so that is part of the Oliver system. And then you can see I have Google Preview there. So to set this up, there are parameters that we need to switch on. So I'll show you how to do that in a moment. But if I click on one of these icons, it's just going to open up a separate window for us. So we're in Google now. So we've got this preview page. So we can see the book cover, we can see the contents if it's appropriate, or we can see maybe a first or second chapter. How much you actually see here will depend on the publisher. But a student maybe at this point can see enough of the item to decide whether or not they want to take it out. You've also got access to reviews and to buy the book, and we can also view the ebook for this particular item. So about this book here in the Google Books area, it gives you a little bit more, and you may have more than one review to look at there. So that Google Books option, that is available in Oliver without any add-ons needing to be purchased. So I'm going to go to my management system. I'm going to go to the management and parameters, and I'm going to search for Google. Now I'm getting 3 options here. One of these is actually a link that I've added to my home page. So if I want them to be able to use Google via Oliver, I could do that. But these are the 2 options that I'm interested in. Enable Google Books and enable Google Feed. So if I click on that, it will take me to the appropriate section. So it's in this integration Google section here. So I'll just move that up the screen so we can see it a bit better. If I edit this, I can change that from no to yes. And that's all you need to actually set that up. So if I choose yes here, there is some text here about terms and conditions of Google. So you've got a link if you want to look at that. But really, you would just turn this on to enable it and then save that. So if I go back to my search screen, and I'm going to go back to the home page. Just take that out, don't need Jacqueline anymore. And I'm going to go to the bottom here to this RSS feed that I've set up. Now, that second option allows you to add RSS feeds or updates to your home page. So you can access ready-made updates on the web. News sites tend to be the best examples. Now, I found this particular teen site maybe a bit contentious, but if I edit this, when you have set up that parameter, you have a link type, an extra link type of RSS feeder. And what you do is that once you've found the actual RSS feed, it is a link, so you just copy and paste that into the URL feed here. So you have further options where you can set up how much information you want. So how long a description, the date that it updates, whether you want an image with it, and how many updates you want on that page. So you've got that information there. Okay. So I will just leave that for the moment. So trying to find an actual entry, I just go to my page here. I'm just going to go to Google, and I'm going to search something like BBC News RSS feeds. Yeah. So I've got a result there. So if I go to that page, it lists various feeds that you've got here. So if I choose education, for instance, I can go to that, and you get the RSS feed on your browser. It's this link that I'm interested in. So I'm going to just click on that and copy it. So I've just right-clicked on that, go back to my home page here, and then just paste that in and save it. So what was about various teen issues is now looks about sport, teachers and bullying, things like that. So we're getting that BBC education feed now. Now, I was having quite a bit of trouble finding RSS feeds that were useful for schools. It wasn't very easy. A colleague of mine has been looking at it too, and he's got some ideas there, so we'll probably make those public as well on the website at some point. But you can create your own RSS feeds. So again, this is done via Google, so you do need to have a Google account, so a Gmail account. So a lot of people have that. So I have Google set as my home page, and I do have an account. So what you need to do is you go up to the apps option here, and you have the news app there. So I'm just going to select that. So it's taking me into the news feed. I'm going to search for items for my own update. Now, prominent topic at the moment is World War I and the commemorations for it. So I'm going to do a search here for that. So in my search, I'm going to put in several terms that might be used when people are referring to World War I. So if I just put that in. So I'm putting them in quotes and linking them with or. So I'm getting World War I as in the number 1, or World War I as the uppercase I. I could also put in World War I as a word, but I'm going to just limit that. Finally, I'm going to put in First World War. So I'm just putting in as many ways I think it would be referred to as. So, or linking up those 3 phrases. So if I do my search now, it comes up with a result here. Now, I'm going to go down to the bottom of the screen, and there is an option called Create Alert. So I can click Create Alert, and then it takes me into an alerts page. Now, I'll get you to note this. So just google.co.uk/alerts, because that is where you would go to get back to the alerts that you've created. So we've got the search that I've done here, and we have a Create Alert button, but I want to go to Show Options. So it asks you to refine by certain criteria. So how often, where to get that. So I've just searched news, but you can do various options. So it could be news, videos, whatever. So you can choose various options to update on. The language to use, the region, so any region or UK or anywhere else particularly, how many results you'll get, and where to deliver it to. So choosing where to deliver it to, it could be your address or it can be RSS feed. So that's what I am going to select. So it gives you a preview there of what we're going to get, and then you just click Create Alert to complete that. You can see we've got various options here. So I've got my football team and just the First World War by itself, but this is the one that I've just created now. So you have the RSS icon there. So you click on that and it will take you to the feed that you've created, and then the same method applies. I just clicked on that, right click on it, copy it, and then I can go back to my home page and I can edit this and then put in my own link. So it's a bit longer than the others, but there it is. There's the RSS feed that I've created there. So it's really useful that you can create your own links. And as I said, if you want to get back to your actual alerts again, the address will be just google.co.uk/alerts. And that takes you back to your alerts so you can delete them. So I might get rid of a couple of these, but you can always get back to them if you need to make adjustments, so you can edit those later at some point. Yep. So that can bring in outside information into your Oliver system so people can see that. So getting them, the idea I have is to getting them to look at your home page, highlighting something that's of interest to them from the outside. But now I'm going to move from external resources to internal resources. Now, I want to look at a couple of the options that are in other searches. Now, I think a lot of you will be familiar with lists, but I also have here main subjects, and that's what I'm going to concentrate on, but these are interchangeable, what I'm going to show you next. And I'm going to use main subjects in conjunction with accelerated reader items, but again can be adapted for other items. Now I'm sure most of you will be aware of accelerated reader, particularly those of you in the UK, but I know that there are a few of you from outside the UK. And many of you are probably also aware that we have an accelerated reader add-on specifically for Oliver. Now my home page illustrates this. Information is loaded in to label your accelerated reader items, and then when our professional services consultants set it up, they add this box to your home page. So the idea with this is that you can click on this link to take you to items for a particular level. So all of these, I've got the icon there because it is linked to accelerated reader. Now, not everybody has this app or this option, so you may have something else in your catalogue record to indicate that the item belongs to a particular accelerated reader level or has points on it. So it could be in the title, it could be in the subject, or just in the notes. Or the other thing that I think you get with Accelerated Reader from Renaissance Learning is that they can provide you with spine labels, so you can put on the level on the book itself. Now I'm going to use, say, items that have been marked for Accelerated Reader, and what I want to do is I want to add them to a main subject, or add them to a subject in the first instance. So I'm just going to go back to my home page first and clear this out. And I'm going to go back to my management screen. So cataloging and resources. Yes. Now what I've done is I've got my books on the shelf with their labels on, so I'm going to take down some books from level 4. So once I'm in resources, I can go to the right-hand menu and I can choose multi-barcode search. So I'm going to scan in some of my items here. I think that will do. You'll get the idea of what I'm doing there. So you can scan in up to so many barcodes. That parameter can be changed, by the way. So if I scan in those items, and I'm going to run my search. So I have a list of items here. Then I want to go to Manage Authorities. So when I choose that, this takes me into an option where I can choose from a drop-down list of authorities. So it goes to lists, or reading lists as I sometimes refer to them first. I'm going to choose subject here, and what I want to do is I want to add these to a new authority term for Accelerated Reader Level 4. So I'm just going to call it AR. Now I've already got some set up here. Oops, I'm going to put that in, and now I can add these items to a subject. I have been asked in the past if you could add items to a subject. Now that was not possible until very recently. This particular function allows you to do that, but it's to various authorities in the system. So if I save that, it has created a new subject and it has added those 9 items to it. Now what I can do is I can go to Authority, Control. I'm in Subjects. This is a brand new subject that I've added today, so a shortcut would be just to click New Records Only, and it takes me to that subject. I could have also searched for AR, and it would have brought me to this. So I will edit from the right-hand side there, and right down the bottom you have Main Subject. So I'm going to select that as yes and save it. Okay. So now if I go back to my search screen, I'm saying we have other searches here. So one that you may not have used, some of you who had Oliver version 3 might be familiar with this concept. Main subjects, like lists, if we put information in a subject and mark it as a main subject, we can browse those subjects. So I have various accelerated reader options here, so I can just click on that to take me to those items. And also, when you add them as a main subject, you could select more than one and browse those. Okay. But what I've done today is just created a link, something similar to what you saw on the main home page, but using the subjects area. You could have added these to lists. So we have our lists that we can set up and that people can browse. Also, when you add items to lists or subjects, they are searchable on their own in the basic search. So I could search for AR and then 4. I'll be able to search for my levels there and get the same result. But having them marked as main subject just allows you to browse them just a little bit easier rather than doing a search there. Okay. Now, just to recap what I did with the list here, so my resource list, I went into Manage Authorities. Now, it goes to lists. Now, previously, some of you may have added to lists using an option called Add to Lists. Now that's been superseded by this new option to Manage Authorities. It has been expanded to cover more than one authority, not just lists. And the other option that you have is that you can remove items from an authority using this. So I could clear an entire list if I wanted to by using this option. Okay. And that's something that you may not have been aware of. Okay. Now, with these searches, or let's say the search result, you can share those results using QR codes. Other things with, let's say, reading lists, for instance, you can set up reading lists to integrate with VLEs. So the VLEs that we support are Frog, Moodle and SharePoint. You do need the Web Services module for that, but lists can be integrated to link with specific courses or course codes. But getting back to the actual search results that you have, so I had created lists on a particular course, particular topic of interest. So I have probably gone to the teachers in my school and I've asked them, like, what books do you want? What resources will you be using? So I can get books into the library, and I can publicise those. So I can create the lists, and I can publicise those using QR codes. So you can put them on posters, you could display them in the classrooms. So the QR codes, they can be created via the share option. So sharing, we had options for Facebook and Twitter and all these different accounts that you can sign up to, but here is the QR code. So you're able to right-click on this and copy the picture or save the picture. So save that code. So I've got a code here already, but this code can be printed, it can be put on posters around the school or your college or in the classroom. So your users, the students, also the teachers of the school, can use these QR codes to access this list. So it's got a short link to this longer link, so they can use their tablets, their iPads, their iPhones, any mobile phones with the scanner on it to access items. So it's a real good way of taking, let's say, Oliver out of the library and spreading it around the school, not just on the computers that you've got set up in school, but also on their own personal equipment there. Okay. So that's something, again, that's nice and easy to do. Getting the lists together might be a little bit more time consuming, but I think it's worth it if you really want to push that information out to your users. Now, I'm going to go back to my home page once more. And you may have noticed that I've been playing about with my home page quite a bit. So you may have seen our other Oliver demo sites. Now, one of the things that I've done is to add some pictures to my site. I am no HTML expert, but I've been able to add the pictures, and I've also been able to add links to those pictures. So if I go in and edit this one here, I've got them in my text page. So if I click on this one here for our LinkedIn page, I've added this particular image, and what I've done actually is I have uploaded that image onto a catalogue record in Oliver. And when you do that, that is uploaded into Oliver, and because Oliver is web-based or browser-based, it does have a web address. So I can actually paste that URL in. So it was a cheats way of doing it, but it works well for my system, and hopefully it would work for you. That you can paste that link in and for your picture, and also with that you can add the link to the site itself. So that is something, again, you don't need great HTML knowledge to do. It's quite simple. Well, it's fairly straightforward, but it's a little bit more involved than what I was planning to go through today. So one of the reasons we wanted to have these small training sessions to offer these to you, so we've got several more happening over the next few months, is to just give you a taster of what Oliver can do, but we are going to be offering more detailed courses, and we're going to be publicising these very soon, so you should receive something on those. I hope that this has been useful for everybody, and really like to thank you for attending. And as I said, we will be holding several more of these sessions over the coming months, and there may be other topics that come up that we can cover in a short half-hour session. So we'll keep you posted on those. So again, thanks for attending, and I will hopefully talk to you again next month.